President Hogan, it's nice to have you on set for the first time. Thank you.
It's great to be here.
And I'll bring our viewers in on what we talked about during the commercial break, that hopefully this will not devolve into a shouting match. That's not the goal.
Not.
Truly want to get some factual information out of you. So let me start here. Has the president spoken to Bill Barr since the release of Barr's letter?
I'm not aware that the president has spoken with Bill.
Does he have any plans to speak with Bill Barr?
I'm not aware of any of those plans right now either.
Has the president asked the Department of Justice for a copy of the report?
I'm not aware of that either.
Does the president plan to ask for a copy? Does the White House want to see the underlying Mueller report?
Right. This is a great lightning round. I'm not entirely sure where the process goes from here. I know the president wants transparency. I also know that he has called many times for the report to be made public, but he also has done that in consistency with the law. So whatever the law dictates is what he's going to do.
He has said that he would be open to the report being public, but has he directed Bill Barr to go ahead and release everything minus the grand jury testimony?
Again, I'm not aware of that at all.
Okay. Do you think he will ask that, given that the president has talked about the House Democrats and the House overall actually voting unanimously to release the Mueller report?
Again, and they voted to release the Mueller report consistent with the law. They have no power to do that. Congress does not. I understand what the piece of legislation said, but it basically pointed out the fact that they wanted it released consistent with the law. So that's up to the Attorney General. That has nothing to do with us.
But let me ask you this way. What is the White House's position on that? Do they want to see this report, minus grand jury testimony and these classified pieces of information, released publicly?
Well, again, you hit on it, right? It depends on what's inside of it. The classification matters, obviously. If there's classified information, the methods and sources are important, too, to protect as well. And any American citizens that may be pointed out in the report, too. You don't want them to be smeared in the court of public opinion without getting a chance to defend themselves either. So there's a myriad of things we have to go through, but it's my understanding right now that there's been no press to make it public.
Does the White House support Bill Barr and Robert Mueller speaking publicly in front of lawmakers as Democrats are requesting? I mean,
it's up to Bill Barr. It's not something we're going to.
Do you support it if he did?
Well, again, he's his own man. He's put together this report, and we expect him to comport with the law as well.
Former Trump advisor Michael Caputo spoke last night here on this network talking about the issue of potential pardons. I want to play you what he had to say.
I think in the evidence of no collusion, he should pardon Roger Stone, George Papadopoulos, and General Flynn immediately.
Is the president now considering pardons for people like Manafort, Flynn, caught up in this investigation?
Look, we've received many incoming questions on this very topic, and the fact is we've had no discussions internally about these potential pardons.
You say incoming questions from these players?
No, the media have absolutely been trying to figure this out, and the fact is we've had no conversations about any potential pardons moving forward. We have a very rigorous process that relates to pardons, but we've had no conversations internally about this at this point.
Does that mean that no attorneys for these men have reached out to the White House?
I don't know if they've reached out to White House counsel or not. I can tell you internally, we've had no conversations. The president hasn't had a conversation, and we haven't had one with him either. The
president for 2 years has attacked Robert Mueller, the man, right? Now he and you are praising the Mueller investigation. How is that not hypocritical?
Well, look, the president was defending himself against what we now know is a complete witch hunt and a total hoax.
No, he was proactively going after Robert Mueller.
He was defending,
but now he's touting Mueller's findings.
He was defending himself because the entire process was predicated on a lie, and we now know that. There has been no collusion, there is no obstruction, and it's a complete and total exoneration.
I got to just stop you on the complete and total exoneration piece, and I don't want to go in circles on this, but Robert Mueller specifically, based on Bill Barr's letter, says this does not exonerate the president. It doesn't mean he committed a crime, but it also does not exonerate him. Why do you insist on keeping saying total exoneration?
Well, prosecutors don't exonerate. Prosecutors prosecute, and they prosecute only if they have evidence to do that. He did not have any evidence to prosecute here, so he did not prosecute. The point is, if you can't call this anything but a total exoneration where there are no indictments, no collusion, and completely no obstruction whatsoever, then I don't know what you're doing.
We're down a rabbit hole here because, again, Mueller himself, there is a difference. Yes, this is a legal, clean bill of health, as Savannah Guthrie so memorably phrased it to your colleague Sarah Sanders on the Today Show. But there is a murky area as it relates to the obstruction piece. I understand that the White House perceives it differently.
Right.
Let me ask you this, though. Does Robert Mueller, all this said, does he deserve thanks for his service? Did he conduct himself honorably?
Look, I don't know Robert Mueller personally. I know the Democrats have been praising him for a long time. When he was named as special counsel, they talked from sun up to sundown about how amazing he was and how he would do this in a straight manner. I don't know if he did a good job here. I'm sure he did a thorough job. It appears that way. But the fact is, the results are clear and clean for the president, that there is no collusion. It's time for the country to move on.
Should the president apologize to Mueller for his attack?
Look, he's defending himself against what we now know is a total lie.
So is that a no?
The president has made his position very clear on Robert Mueller. Here's another thing, though.
We're almost out of time.
I think we should also apologize to the American people here who's been drugged through the mud for 3 years and about $30 million worth to prove that there's nothing done wrong by this president.
Extremely quickly, and again, now that the president and his campaign have not been charged with conspiring, will the president definitively, unequivocally state that Russia interfered in the 2016 election?
You mean again? Because he's already said that many times.
He said Russia and other countries.
This happened on President Barack Obama's watch. President Obama was the one who did nothing about it, allowed it to happen.
Why do you think so many people lied?
This president came on and has absolutely been tougher on Russia than any other administration.
That is also a point to be fact-checked that we sadly don't have time to get into. But very quickly,
yes.
Why do you think so many people in Donald Trump's orbit lied about their discussions and conversations with Russians?
That's something they have to answer for. But the fact is the president has done nothing wrong here, and now the country knows it.
Hogan Gidley, appreciate you coming on. We've got to run. Next up, do Americans still have unanswered questions, or are they just glad this Mueller investigation